I'm 103 years old. I'm a World War II veteran, and I'm about to tell you something that nobody will ever tell you. Not your family, not your friends, not the people who love you most, because it's too painful, too real, too hard to hear. I've been alive for over a century. I've buried my father, my wife, most of my friends. I've watched the world change 4 times over, and in all that time, I learned one truth that haunts me every single day. We live like we have forever, when we barely have anything at all. But here's what nobody tells you. It's not enough to know that life is short. Every greeting card tells you that. Every motivational post tells you that. The real problem is this. You will forget. You'll survive something terrible, make a promise to change, and then you'll forget. You'll slip back into the same patterns, the same choices, the same belief that you have time. And that forgetting, that slow drift back into taking people for granted, that's the real tragedy. I learned this at 23 years old. It took me 80 years to truly understand it. 80 years. Don't wait that long. Let me tell you when I learned it. Not at 90, not at 80, at 23. Fall of 1944. I was 22 years old, home on military leave for 10 days. I'd been fighting in Europe for 2 years. Saw things no young man should see. Lost friends I'll never forget. But I was home, safe, for a moment. My father was 52 then, a good man. Worked at the factory, never complained. It was my third morning home. I was in the kitchen drinking coffee. He came in, sat down across from me. He said, "Robert, son, I want to talk to you about something. I was meeting friends that afternoon, boys I grew up with, heading to the Pacific, staying home. I wanted to see them before I went back. So I said, 'Sure, Dad, tomorrow, okay? I've got plans today.' He looked at me for a moment. Then he smiled. He said, 'Go ahead, son. Enjoy your friends.' I finished my coffee, got up, walked out. That was the last time I saw my father smile, the last time I heard his voice. The next day, we were both busy. I thought, we still have time. A week left. We'll talk then. Then I was packing, saying goodbye, heading back. I thought, when I come home for good, we'll have that conversation. I never asked him what he wanted to talk about. Never circled back to it. I thought I had time. 3 months later, I got a letter. January 1945. I was in Belgium. Cold, wet, miserable. We'd just come through the Battle of the Bulge. The letter came in April. Mail was slow during the war. My mother's handwriting. I recognized it before I even opened it. My father had died. Heart attack, January 7th. I was reading this in April. He'd been gone for 3 months, and I didn't even know. The funeral was over. He was buried. Everyone had said goodbye, except me. I sat there with that letter in the mud, and I tried to remember the last thing he said to me. "Go ahead, son. Enjoy your friends." That was it. I kept thinking about that morning in the kitchen. What did he want to talk about? Was it important? I'll never know. The war ended a month later. I came home in June. went to his grave, stood there like an idiot, trying to apologize to a headstone. And I made a promise right there. I promised I would never do that again. Never put off a conversation. Never assume there'd be another chance. I was 23 years old, and I thought I'd learned the most important lesson of my life. I was wrong. The lesson wasn't that life is short. I already knew that. I'd watched boys die in France, boys younger than me. The lesson I didn't understand yet, the one that took 80 years, was this. Knowing isn't enough. You can know something and still forget it. You can make a promise and still break it, because we're human, and humans forget. I came home from the war in June 1945, 23 years old, carrying my father's lesson like a weight. Never postpone, never assume, never waste time. And for a while I kept that promise. I wrote letters to my mother every week, visited friends, showed up. I thought I was different now. Then life happened. I met a woman, Mary. Married her in 1948. We had 2 children, Michael and Sarah. I got a job at the post office. And slowly, without even noticing, I started forgetting. Started saying, "Not now, I'm tired," when Mary asked if I wanted to take a walk. Started telling Michael maybe this weekend when he wanted to throw a baseball. Started choosing the newspaper over conversation. Work over presence. Tomorrow over today. The busyness crept back in. The postponing. The believing I had time. I didn't forget my father. I thought about him often, but I forgot the lesson. Mary died in 1989. I was 67. She was 64. Stroke came out of nowhere, and I stood at her funeral, and I thought about all the walks I said no to, all the Tuesday nights I spent reading the paper while she sat across from me. All the time she started to tell me something and I said, "Hold on," and never circled back. We had a good marriage. I just thought we had more time. My son Michael calls every Sunday, and I can hear it in his voice sometimes. That same thing I used to do. "Dad, I'll call you back later. Dad, can we talk this weekend?" And I want to tell him, don't do what I did. Don't learn this lesson at 103. But how do you make someone understand that later doesn't exist? You can't. They have to forget, just like I did. They have to learn the hard way. Unless they catch themselves, unless they remember, unless they return. You're sitting there right now listening to this, and maybe you're thinking, that's sad. That's a sad story about an old man and his regrets. But you're missing the point. The point isn't that I made mistakes. The point is that you're making them right now. Right now, today, this moment. You think you're different. You think you have time. You think your situation is special. Your busyness is justified. It's not. I'm 103 years old. I've watched generations come and go, and every single person believes the same lie. I'll do it later. I'll call them next week. I'll visit when things calm down. You know what happens? Things don't calm down. You don't get more time. Next week becomes next month becomes never. your grandmother. If you still have her, she's sitting somewhere right now. Maybe looking at old photos. Maybe just staring out a window. She's thinking about you, wondering when you'll call, telling herself you're busy. You have your own life, she understands. But it hurts. Every day, it hurts a little more. Your parents, if you're lucky enough to still have them, they're getting older. Every day a little older. And you're telling yourself you'll spend more time with them. You'll visit more. You'll call more when work settles down, when the kids are older, when you're less stressed. But that time never comes. Let me tell you something. When they're gone, you won't remember the argument you had 5 years ago. You won't care that they were difficult sometimes. You'll remember the calls you didn't make, the visits you postponed, the Sunday dinners you skipped because you were tired. And it will break you. I know because I'm living it. At my age, every goodbye might be the last one. But here's what you need to understand. It's the same for you. You're just young enough to believe it's not. I have a great grandson. His name is Daniel. He's 32. He came to visit me last month, sat right there in that chair, stayed for an hour, spent 45 minutes looking at his phone. I didn't say anything. What's the point? He thinks he's listening. He thinks this moment will always be available. It won't. Someday he'll remember that visit, and he'll remember he spent it looking at a screen, and it will hurt him in ways he can't imagine yet. Your wife, your husband, whoever you share your life with, they're sitting in the other room right now. When's the last time you sat with them and did nothing? No TV, no phones, no distractions, just sat there. I'm not talking about a date night. I'm talking about a Tuesday. A regular, ordinary Tuesday. When's the last time? I spent 42 years with Mary. You know what I remember most? Not our anniversary trips, not the birthdays or the holidays. One Saturday morning, drinking coffee in the kitchen, sun coming through the window, neither of us saying much. I was actually there, not thinking about work, not planning the day, just there. It lasted maybe 20 minutes, and I can still see it. 70 years later, I can still see the light on her face. You know how many moments like that I had with her in 42 years? I can count them. All the rest, I was there, but I wasn't there. Physically present, mentally gone. Half listening while thinking about something else. And now she's gone. And I'd give anything for one more Tuesday morning, for one more chance to just sit there and be there. You have that chance right now, today. My daughter Sarah, she's 71 now. I still see her as 8 years old, showing me a drawing she made, and I barely looked at it. I said, "That's nice, honey," without even really seeing it, because I was reading the paper, because I thought there'd be another drawing tomorrow. There was, but that moment, when she wanted to share something with me, that moment is gone, and I can't get it back. You can't get them back. None of us can. People always ask me, at 103, what do you regret? They expect me to say I wish I'd traveled more, or made more money, or achieved something great. That's not it. My biggest regret is simpler than that, and somehow worse. I regret the ordinary moments I treated like they didn't matter. The moments that weren't special, that weren't supposed to be memorable, that were just regular life. Like the time Michael asked me to help him with his homework. He was maybe 10 years old, and I said, "Ask your mother, I'm watching the game." It wasn't the Super Bowl. It wasn't even an important game. I don't even remember who was playing, but I remember his face, the way he said okay and walked away. Or the evening Mary wanted to go for a drive. No destination, just a drive. And I said I was too tired. We lived in the same house for 42 years. How many evenings did we have? Thousands. And I said no because I was tired. I wasn't even doing anything. Just sitting there. These aren't the big moments. Nobody's going to make a movie about them. Just a father who didn't help with homework. A husband who didn't go for a drive. But these moments, they add up. And at the end, they're all you have. Not your wedding day. Not your kids' graduations. What you have is all the small moments in between. And the question is, were you there? Really there? Or were you somewhere else, planning, worrying, waiting for something bigger to happen? I've been alive for 37,595 days. You know how many of those days I was fully present? I can count them on my hands, maybe 15 days. Out of 37,000, that's what haunts me. Not that I didn't accomplish enough, that I sleepwalked through my own life, and you're doing the same thing. Right now, today, you're sleepwalking, waiting for the weekend, waiting for vacation, waiting for someday, and someday never comes. The only moment you actually have is this one, right now. And you're probably not even here. Stop. Just for a second, stop. Here's what took me 80 years to understand. You're going to forget. You're going to break every promise you make to yourself. You're going to drift back into distraction. You're going to postpone. Because you're human, and that's what humans do. We forget. But that's okay. The point isn't to be perfect. The point isn't to never forget. The point is to notice when you've forgotten and come back. Remember and return. That's the real lesson. You're sitting at dinner, looking at your phone while your wife is talking. Notice it. Put the phone down. Come back. You're half listening to your son's story while thinking about work. Notice it. Stop thinking. Come back. You're too busy to call your mother this week. Notice it. Make the call. Come back. It's not about being present every moment of every day. It's about returning. Every time you drift, return. Every time you forget, remember. I'm 103 years old. I've had more time than most people get, and it still wasn't enough. It's never enough. There's never enough time with the people you love. So you take what you have and you show up for it. Not perfectly, but persistently. Come back to the conversation. Come back to the person sitting right there in front of you while they're still there, while you still can. I don't know how much longer I have. Could be a year, could be tomorrow. At 103, Every day is borrowed time. I'm not afraid of dying. What I'm afraid of is that you'll waste your life the way I wasted so much of mine. So I'm asking you, right now, this moment, stop reading this and call someone, your mother, your father, your sister, the friend you keep meaning to reach out to. Call them. Not later, not tomorrow, now. Because later never comes. Or go sit with someone. Your wife, your husband, your kids. Just sit there. No TV, no phones. Just be there for 5 minutes. And tomorrow, do it again. You'll forget. You'll drift. You'll postpone. But when you catch yourself, come back. Remember and return. That's the lesson. Don't wait 80 years like I did. Don't wait.